Hello everybody and welcome back again. This video is a recap of what's happened in US Open so far. And the upper section have played their third round matches, and later today it's the second half of the seed, the bottom half of the seed who's gonna play their matches. And so far Roger Federer, Novak Djokovic and Daniil Medvedev have won their matches, and they are all through to the fourth round now. And we have seen some upsets in the third round here. We saw Kei Nishikori lose to Alex de Minaur in the four tight sets, where de Minaur was the much better player in that match. And I thought in my preview before the tournament that Kei was going to reach the quarterfinal, this Mr. Quarterfinal guy, but de Minaur from Australia stopped him this time. And he played very good, the young Australian. He was very quick on court. He's a quick mover. He picks up almost everything, has a great forehand, and super defensive skills. Almost reminds me a little bit of Novak. The problem is Novak is much complete and better in all areas of the game. So a job well done for de Minaur. So he will have a fourth round match now against Grigor Dimitrov, who also didn't have to play. He got a withdraw. And if you look at Grigor Dimitrov's last 1.5 years, that has been terrible. This is a good sign for him. He got a free ticket into the fourth round and will meet a grinder. So he has a task that is tough in front of him. But absolutely he can overcome him if he have the confidence and focus more on court. Absolutely not. Why not? All right. To begin with the big three, I'm gonna talk a little about Novak's performance, especially after the second round matches. We saw that Novak had a sore shoulder, he had some problem, and I didn't see the match, his second round match, but he struggled, but he managed to win that match. And after the match, he had these scans, and the scan showed no signs of injury. And we saw that in the match against Kudla that Novak, who has a problem with his left shoulder, sliced it a little bit more just to not put so much pressure on his shoulders. So that was a tactical change from his side and his team, and it was good because in the match against Kudla, Novak played offensively and defensively top-notch almost through the whole match. And that match is a typical match where a player plays his best, but his opponent played better, because Denis Kudla was a real fighter. He had some good points here and there. He made Novak work for many of his points. And the results shows 3 straight sets. It's not as the result shows, because I think Denis Kudla played solid. He played a very great game, but the problem is Novak was much better, and he was on cruise control in that match. He did exactly what he had to do, and that gave him the victory. And now he's advanced to the fourth round, where he's gonna meet Stan Wawrinka, who beat his opponent in the last round, the Italian guy Lorenzi. And now, after 3 matches, Wawrinka is starting to get warmer now, and his powerful ground strokes can, when it works, when he's in the right shape, when everything works for him, he's a terrible matchup for Novak, and we have seen that through the history, because Wawrinka is the last guy that has beaten Novak Djokovic in US Open. when he won against him in the US Open 2016 final. And as you know, in last year Novak won in 2017. He didn't play due to injury. And Wawrinka is like a dark horse in this tournament. He does his job in the first rounds, but now he's gonna face the best player in the world, and he knows how to beat Novak. But can he keep it up? Because, as we all know, Stan Wawrinka have heavy ground strokes, and he makes a lot of unforced errors. And if he can keep that number low, he will have a chance against Novak. But that's easier said than done, because you know Novak is a living wall. He's a plastic man. He reaches for every point, even those points that you think it's impossible to catch up. He's there to pick them up. So Novak will have everything prepared for this match. And since the scan didn't show any problems with his shoulder, I think he can play more relaxed now. And even if he has pain, he will take some painkillers. I'm convinced that he's gonna play his best against Wawrinka. And the match is not wide open, but Wawrinka can cause damage, that's for sure. And then we have Roger Federer, this young 38 years old man who played vintage tennis against Daniel Evans, who has a tough match in the second round where he had, I think he struggled in 5 sets. I don't know if he was tired, but clearly Roger Federer showed that this match was his best match in the tournament. He played good from every angle of the tennis game. His forehand was good. He made a lot of backhand winners, and his unforced error numbers were only 17 in that match. 19 in that match. And one important thing that we are not often see Federer do is the break point conversion. He broke Daniel Evans 7 times in that match. And that was superb, because even his returns were solid yesterday against Daniel Evans. So Roger have stepped up a couple of notches like he always does in Grand Slams. The first 1 or 2 rounds, they are pretty slow starters like him and Novak. They win their matches. They don't do that convincingly, even though they're the overwhelming favorite in those matches. But the deeper they go, the better they play. That's for sure. And Roger has done that, and he's looking real good now. And his serve was also superb yesterday. He only made 1 double fault in that match, and his serve percentage numbers was first serves in was around 60%, and I think he won around 80% of his first serves in when the ball was in play. So good result for Roger Federer. That's a good receive for that he's back again, and now he's gonna face the little Belgian wizard David Goffin, who is now in the 4th round. He won in 3 straight sets against PCB Pablo Carreno Busta. It was 3 tight sets, 7-6, 7-6, and 7-5. And we all know Goffin is a solid baseliner that makes not that much unforced errors. But he doesn't have these deadly weapons like Novak, Roger, or Rafa. And he has only beaten Roger 1 time. But this match that I saw, the first 2 sets, I saw that Goffin have a lot of powers in his both forehand and backhand. I've never seen that before. I don't know what he ate yesterday, but he was solid from the baseline as usual. And Pablo Carreno Busta has been away a long time from injuries. So I think that this was his best match since he's lost in Australian Open against Kei Nishikori. So Pablo Carreno Busta shouldn't be ashamed of himself, because yesterday he lost to an equal player that was much better in the clutch moments, because they have the similar playing style. But David Goffin was the better player yesterday, and the result shows that also. Even though it was a 3 tight sets. So David Goffin is been hanging around for a couple of years now with the big three, and he's like that big little brother that wants the piece of the pie, but they don't give it to him. They don't want him to have that little piece. So I'm not seeing anything is gonna change in the match against Roger, but of course this is a Grand Slam. Roger, Rafa, and Novak, they are playing their best game in Grand Slam, and even though Goffin is in a good shape, he can cause some damages. He can take 1 or 2 sets from Roger, absolutely, why not? He's not that bad, but Roger will win in the end, I think, and advance to the quarters. Yes, and we saw yesterday also in the night section, the day before, that Rafa got a withdrawal from Kokkinakis, and so far Rafa had to have a superb draw, and it will get much easier today. He's gonna meet Chang, a match that he should beat. He should beat this guy in 3 straight sets, and his first real test starts in the next round, where he's gonna meet the winner between Jon Isner and Marian Cilic. But those are guys that he eats for breakfast regularly when he's in normal shape. And I'm not counting the loss against Marian Cilic in the Australian Open last year, where Nadal was injured and had to pull out from the match. So Nadal got a walkover from Kokkinakis, and I have Nadal as my number 1 pick for this tournament, and with 1 extra day rest, he needs that. You know, Nadal has been plagued with injuries the couple of years since the start of his career, and this preparations for him in this tournament has been 100% to his advantage, because he's fit now. He's not tired. He don't have problem with his knees now. He doesn't feel any injury, so he will play with full force against Chang, and will take on the winner between Isner and Cilic in the 4th round match. So Nadal is looking superb in this tournament so far, but he haven't had any quality players to measure with. So we have to see the deeper he goes. But on his upper section, in the same bottom half of the row, we have some exciting name, because we have some of the top seed has lost in that side of the section. Thiem, Khachanov, RBA. So that leaves the door wide open to the semi-final for a guy like Zverev, Kyrgios, Rublev, and we have to see. Maybe it's Kyrgios time at this time, but and we have Shapovalov also has played superb. He beat Aliassime in straight sets. He won his 2nd round match also pretty easy, and he's gonna face Gael Monfils now, who is a tricky player. When he wants to play tennis, it's an amazing thing to see, but you don't see that happening that much. Especially his consistency level is terrible if you compare to his talent. And Grand Slam event is a tournament that he hasn't done much success in, this ball artist from France. But anyway, he's here. He has a chance now. He's equal to other players on that section. Maybe the best rank probably in that section. And the next 4th round match between de Minaur and Dimitrov, the winner there will probably meet Roger Federer, but we know that de Minaur is a solid speed demon that doesn't give up. He runs after all the ball he can see. He reminds me of Michael Chang in that aspect, and of course Novak Djokovic. So he will be the favorite in the match against Dimitrov. And then we have a match in the third round between Andrei Rublev and Nick Kyrgios. That match is wide open. Both of them have played good. And I think Rublev's last match, he got his opponent withdrawn under the game because I think he was injured in some way. I don't know how, but he called it off. He threw the towel in, and Rublev didn't have to sweat that much in that game. So he's gonna meet Nick Kyrgios, who has been solid. He has kept his cool and nerves so far, except a little incident. He has to do something in every match. But Nick Kyrgios would have a good way also. If he wins against Rublev, I think he can reach the semifinals, because his biggest threats are Schwartzman. No, not Schwartzman. He can meet Rafa in the quarterfinal, but Zverev, I think. So it's going to be very interesting. And Sasha Zverev was going to meet, I forgot who was going to meet today, but in a potential 4-round, I think he will play against the winner between Kyrgios and Rublev. And like I said, he has a good chance of reaching and go deep in this tournament for once. And Diego Schwartzman has gone under the radar before the tournament. I had him as a quarterfinal candidate. He can still reach there, but he has some tough tasks on his way now. But he absolutely, his 4-round match is a match that he should win. But later, I think it's going to get more tough for him. But if I can remember correctly, I think he's going to he can meet Alexander Zverev in the 4th round. Somehow, maybe I have mixed up the draw in my head now, but I'm pretty sure about it. But anyway, it's good to see Wawrinka, Dimitrov, and Chang play good tennis again, because all of these players have had a hell. Especially Chang, since his win against Novak Djokovic in US Open, and the year after he reached the further 4 round when he lost against Roger Federer. Or maybe was it the same tournament? I forgot. But anyway, Chang has been suffering from injuries lately. And Dimitrov, he was not in form. He wasn't injured, I think. But he was way out of the hell. And now he has smelled some blood. Now he is in the 4th round, and he can win against de Minaur, but we will see about that. And then we have Wawrinka, who is back almost in full shape, but he will never reach the level of when he was a Grand Slam winner, that's for sure. But he can cause some damages, of course, why not? Maybe he have one last Grand Slam in him, and he knows that he have the chance, he have the game, he got everything that is necessary to win 7 matches in a Grand Slam event. So I will not count him out, not yet. But the big 3 is big 3. Grand Slam are their living room. They have the keys in their hand. It's up to the others to come and take those keys. But it's a tough task, and you know, the big 3 always almost delivers to 95%. If the one doesn't deliver, the other one does. That's why they have won everything that you can think about the last couple of years. So nothing will change that this year, but it's good to see some of these new talented guys. They have reached now most of them have reached the 3rd round now, and we have to see if they can go deeper. Now the things is gonna getting start, and we will see how many of those survives to the 2nd week of this Grand Slam. And from that, anything can happen. Alright, take care and bye-bye.